This is the Waffle Bros. I'm Corwin.
And I'm Uko.
And today we are going to finish off our coverage of the games I completed in 2023. If you missed the previous video, you can check it out in the description down below. But to cut a long story short, I am giving my thoughts on every game that I saw the credits roll on last year, even if I didn't start the game last year. So last time we left off with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which I was kind of on. I didn't really like the final boss. And speaking of games that I didn't really like the final level on, we have number 31, Serious Sam Siberian Mayhem. Now, this game overall, it's basically just a total conversion of Serious Sam 4,
but better.
Much, much better. The levels are better, the weapons are, I think, more or less the same, but everything just feels more fun than Serious Sam 4, and most importantly, less technical issues, because as Uko can attest, the recordings on that game were an absolute nightmare, whereas Siberian Mayhem, it was pretty much even keel, perfect from the beginning. So the final level, it gets a little bit shit. I don't even remember what the last boss was like, if I'm going to be entirely honest.
But I remember you didn't like the last,
no.
Basically from the point at which we weren't playing it on the channel.
Yeah,
it went downhill.
Pretty much. So we picked the perfect time to stop. That's where the game just sort of falls off like a brick in a toilet. So then, another game that we never finished on the channel, number 32, Industria. Now, if you don't remember this game, it's basically like Half-Life 2 if
like
it were made by somebody other than Valve.
And like Diesel Punk instead of not Diesel Punk.
And there's these weird little robots, and they all have some sort of weird robot heads and stuff like that, and somebody changed the timeline and ruined everything. And the game is really fun. It's a great concept. There's something that's just always not very fun about shooting robots in games. Now, some games get it right. Like, for example, RoboCop, it gets shooting robots fun. It gets shooting robots fun, yes. It makes shooting robots fun. But this game, it just feels like you're shooting rusted metal. Overall, like, if you're into indie games like Half-Life 2, I would recommend it. But much like Serious Sam Siberian Mayhem, it falls off pretty heavily near the end. We were actually way closer to the end than I realized. And I also had an unbelievably horrible bug occur where like a bridge fell that wasn't supposed to fall or something. And I had to replay a whole bunch of it because I just couldn't get past that point.
Oh, we were bugged on our playthrough?
No.
Oh, okay.
Immediately after the part where we were playing. So that's a thing to watch out for. Hopefully they've patched it since then. So number 33, Necromunda Hired Gun. I believe we started playing this on the channel as well. Didn't get very far into it. Uko probably has more opinions about this game than I do.
For whatever reason, it vibed with me so well. I finished that game in like 2 sittings. It was beautiful. I played the crap out of it.
Whereas to me, it started off really, really slow, and then only eventually, as I sort of got into the sort of groove of playing it, did I find myself really enjoying it. It's like the opposite of the last 2 games we're talking about here, because it starts out slow and then finishes just absolutely guns blazing. So if you pick up Necromunda Hired Gun, Uko would probably wholeheartedly recommend it. I give it like an but stick through the slow early beginning to get to the sweet, sweet creamy delight at the end. Then number 34, a game that sort of takes a completely different turn from the last few games, Bugsnax. Now, if you aren't aware of the conceit and concept of Bugsnax, the idea is that you're some sort of weird monster person because all of the characters look like some sort of weird monster, like a Muppet. Yeah, like a Muppet, which is, Muppets kind of terrify me. I don't know why, but anyway, you go to this island where the creatures on it,
all the animals,
are all snack food.
It's like if a Pokemon was also a food, and when you ate the Poke food, then a part of your body would become like it. Like if you eat the Oreo monster, your hand becomes like
Yeah.
a big weird Oreo hand.
It's kind of freaky, but honestly, I
love
really
it.
enjoyed the shit out of it. I recommend this game wholeheartedly to everyone.
It was one of those games where if you're subscribed to Game Pass or any equivalent service, you're like, oh, I'll play that game, and then you put it off, and then you're like, oh snap,
It's leaving the service, and now we have to play it.
I have like 6 days, and so that's what we both did.
We both played it right as it was leaving the Xbox Game Pass.
And the DLC.
And it was really fun. It hinted at a sequel, so I'm actually really wanting a sequel. Hopefully, like the, game industry super layoff
It honestly
has not hit that developer.
Out of all the games, I don't want to extend this list too much, but out of all the games on this list, Bugsnax, it has the best ending.
So then, number 35 is the beginning of my Call of Duty Black Ops playthrough. So I played through every Call of Duty Black Ops campaign, which means I didn't play Call of Duty 4, no campaign in that game. Starting off with number 35, Call of Duty Black Ops, game I thoroughly recommend. I don't know why they don't remake it when they're remaking all of the other Call of Duty games, because Call of Duty Black Ops, it's just the campaign really vibes, and it's got like one of the great game sort of twists in it, even though you can totally see it coming from a mile away.
And also, it makes a previous entry in the series, World at War, into a better game retroactively.
Exactly.
By being like related to it.
I really like Call of Duty World at War as well. So then number 36, swinging in completely the different direction, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. You play the son of Mason from Call of Duty Black Ops 1, and I got to admit, nothing about it hits well. Nothing about it hits well.
Is he in the Marines?
I believe so.
So he's a Mason
Jarhead.
Yes.
I guess I would say it's still acceptable. It's an acceptable game. Let's put it like that. That's the best that I can say about its campaign.
Game.
I cannot say for Call of Duty Black Ops 3. That game, its campaign just flat out sucks. It's one of those everybody's gonna have like AI and robots are bad, okay, kind of things. And so much of the game is finished with is like revolves around flashbacks and shit like that. Not into it. Don't recommend Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Number 38, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I do recommend that. We played this on the channel. It's another one of those games with a twist. It feels more like the real sequel to Call of Duty Black Ops 1. You could just forget the other 3 games existed, okay? Just forget the other 3 Call of Duty Black Ops games existed.
There's a typo in the list, and it says
Cord War.
Cord War.
That's where people take their gold-plated headphone cords and garrote you with them, or something like that. But you could actually see us play this on the channel. I would thoroughly recommend Black Ops Cold War, and it'll probably eventually come to Game Pass or something. So if you haven't played the campaign, I only play COD games for the campaign because I like popcorn FPS campaigns, and I play pretty much every FPS campaign available. I really enjoyed it. It still looks good today despite being several years old, so if you're into that kind of shit, go check it out. Then, taking a somewhat different direction, number 39, High on Life.
We finished this on the channel also.
Gargamel Gold gave us a gift copy of this game. We finished it on the channel. I really want to play the High on Knife DLC because Knifey, or whatever his name was, he was probably my favorite character in the entire game.
But he kind of got a suspiciously short shrift in the ending. Almost
actually,
as if...
I'm going to be honest, Let's Do It was my favorite character in the entire game.
Let's do it. But yeah, I was wondering the whole time that the ending was happening, if they were going to have a knife DLC they were setting up.
And then they did. So it's one of those games where if you're not into the type of humor on display, you'll probably hate it and find it overbearing. And sometimes, honestly, it was a little bit overbearing, but the gameplay is pretty smooth. It's got a little bit too much platforming in it for my taste. I like 2D side-scrolling platformers. Not a huge fan of FPS platformers, but it wasn't so much that I wanted to, like, you know, slap my face off and leave my skin on the table or something. So I recommend High on Life. I think Uko would too. I don't think he's played it yet.
I have not played it personally,
and,
but I was
even hates on like Denny's or something like that. I don't remember Applebee's.
There's like a 20-minute rant about Denny's. No,
Applebee's. Yes.
With Applebee's official logo in it, so they may have paid to get roasted.
That's
hard.
Really fucking strange. Yeah. So number 40, HROT. Apparently HROT means Apex in the Czech language, and it is an Apex boomer shooter.
It really is.
I was really surprised that apparently it was made by one dude, and I think it's using some engine that he made himself.
That is
bananas. Which is impressive as hell. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. It's got all sorts of weird enemies. It's got horses. It's got tanks, and it even teaches you how to make like Eastern/Central European dishes that I've never eaten in my life.
You get rewarded with recipes at the end of the episodes.
If you like boomer shooters, recipes. If you like boomer shooters, play HROT, HROT. It's freaking awesome. Then, number 41, The Last of Us Part 1. I had somehow never played The Last of Us. I usually play all of the most acclaimed games, but it was one of those things where it was almost too acclaimed. I don't know if that makes sense. It was so
acclaimed that it was suspicious.
That it kind of felt like, you know, I should sit on this until one day I have nothing else to play. And then I'll play it.
It's the last of it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I guess that does kind of make sense. I really like the Naughty Dog Uncharted games, so it's surprising I hadn't played it up until then. But when the remaster/remake came out, I was like, fuck it, let's go ahead and do this. And I actually had a really good time with it. I still don't like playing. I played the PS5 version as opposed to the PC version, which I hear has its own technical issues that I hopefully have been fixed by now, but I still don't really like playing shooter games on consoles. I wish that all shooter games would release on the PC, but it's got good writing, and even the DLC, which is sort of packed in, is pretty fun. So if you're looking to play a classic video game that has a brand new coat of paint on it,
do it.
Go ahead and play The Last of Us Part 1 on either. Presumably, if you have a beefy PC, you can play it there, and you'll be able to, you know, TPS the shit out of people in it. Then, number 42, GoldenEye 007, another classic that I had never played, and I played through the, like, Xbox 360 remake/remaster that leaked onto the internet. I kind of wanted to play it on the channel, but I'm afraid of Nintendo or maybe the people who own James Bond, which is like, I guess that's Amazon now, of them being like, ha ha ha, we shall destroy your channel now. Nom. I kind of feel like maybe creating like a secondary channel to upload it or something like that. I don't know if YouTube would still get pissed at us though. So maybe a Twitch stream one day. Just play through the whole thing.
I'm into it.
The reason why I'd never played GoldenEye before then is because I don't like the controls on the original GoldenEye. We didn't do any gaming on console back then. We were PC only during the N64 era.
Yeah, I tried recently playing the GoldenEye Nintendo version, and I can't.
And
the controls are insane.
When we were kids and we'd see our cousins playing GoldenEye, we'd kind of look at it and we'd side-eye it because we were like, bro, we have Half-Life and Quake and this is shit. But I did quite enjoy the Xbox 360 remaster of it. I wish that had come out, you know, in all of its glory so everyone could experience it. And then maybe even better, a PC version of it, which I would have really liked. So it's a product of its time and still a pretty good product, but not one that I would honestly recommend with my whole heart. So then, number 43, We Love Katamari Reroll Plus Royal Reverie. I know a lot of people hated this game, the remaster of this game, because like apparently the ball turned weird or something like that.
I think it always
it's turning slowly and I don't like it.
Honestly, I never say this to people because it's a jerky thing to say, but I think it always turned weird and you just don't remember right.
Yeah, but apparently some of these people were people who have been sort of in the Katamari community for the decades in between when it released and when the remaster released.
I'm open to being wrong. The important thing is it has 60 FPS and not 30 FPS.
Yeah, it has, like, I think it actually has unlocked FPS, which is even better than 60 FPS. I mean, what more can I say? It's Katamari, and it even has extra levels that weren't in the original game. It's kind of disappointing that they didn't add, like, entirely new extra levels as opposed to just sort of revamped extra missions.
Tell you, not to inflate this entry, but we need to play the co-op thing on the channel.
Yes, we do. A while back, I emulated playing Beautiful, or maybe was it I don't remember which Katamari it was. Maybe it was Beautiful Katamari on the Xbox 360 emulator, and I enjoyed that as well, and maybe we should play that on the channel at some point. So, number 44, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered. I played a lot of COD last year. I just like breezing through FPS games on the highest difficulty level. I don't know why. It makes me just happy in the pants and gets my juices flowing.
Happy in your juices and get your pants flowing? What?
Yes, it gets my pants flowing. Gotta have the free flowing pantaloons. I mean, what more can I say about this game? Classic first-person shooter campaign. I always love shoot-banging things and dropping bombs on people from C-130, AC-130s. So it's just a great classic, mid-retro, I guess.
Yeah,
people debate about what's retro. It's from 2007 or something like that. I've been gaming since the late 80s, early 90s. And yet I have to just acknowledge that it's retro now. It's a semi-retro game because it's from like 2 console generations past or 15 years old or whatever the fuck. But it is still really good, and the remaster, in my opinion, is pretty much flawless. So check it out if you've never checked it out. Number 45, Broforce. Pretty much every year I return and do a playthrough of the campaign of Broforce.
It's so good.
Last year they released Broforce Forever, which added even more new campaign content. It's just like, how should I put this? It's like if you made an SNES.
That was me sneezing. Yes. I wasn't objecting.
Yes, it was. It's like a perfect SNES game, or maybe like somebody took some weird DOS game project from the 1990s and turned it into one of the best action platformers of all time. You get to kill Satan in it, and
multiple times,
and then piss on his grave. So
it's
if you've
beautiful.
never played Broforce, it goes on sale super cheap, fairly regularly. Go check it out. Trust me, you're gonna have a good time. Then number 46, Serious Sam 3 BFE. Uko and I had played a whole bunch of Serious Sam 3 co-op over the years and never actually ended up finishing it. So this is the first time I ended up finishing it. And it's one of those things where Serious Sam, first of all, Serious Sam should never have tried to be gritty, and Serious Sam 3 tried to be gritty, and
that's
it
just
kind
not
of ruined,
a good...
It kind of ruined the vibe a little bit.
It should be boisterous and fun, and the story should be like barely there.
Exactly, and you should have constant, huge amounts of ammo so that you could be left-clicking your way to success the entire way through. I still had fun with it, but like the end of the game just sort of all melded in together, and I remember the final boss fight being kind of irritating. So Serious Sam is a game series that prides itself on giant cool-ass boss fights, but a lot of the boss fights kind of weak. Number 47, Crysis Remastered. We started playing this on the channel as well.
It had significant technical issues on launch,
and
at least
now,
for when we were recording it.
Pretty much, if not all of them, have been patched at this point. And I have one of those video cards with the DLSS 3 thing where it adds extra frames out of like magic and pixie dust or whatever. So the game ran really well. Crysis is freaking awesome. If you haven't played it and it's your kind of thing, go play Crysis Remastered. The worst part about Crysis Remastered is they didn't remaster the standalone expansion Crysis Warhead. So maybe if someone feels like doing that, that'd be great. I'd totally buy it. You know, wink, wink, nod, nod. I don't even know why I'm trying to be coy about this. I totally buy
it with money.
We'd buy it with money. Number 48, Spider-Man Miles Morales. I loved this. It was freaking awesome. I got 100% achievements on it.
Both of us love the Spider-Man games, the recent ones.
And I don't think Uko has played Miles Morales yet.
I need to get my butt in gear and play that.
Yeah, he needs to get his ass in gear and play that. But Miles Morales, pretty freaking sweet. Set in, I think, pretty much the entire same city as Spider-Man, like 2019 or whichever year it was released in. And it's just a lot of fun. The web swinging is fantastic. And you get your extra Venom powers or whatever the fuck, which is kind of weird to me, given they call Miles' extra powers Venom powers, but isn't like Spider-Man gonna meld with Venom in the Spider-Man 2 game? It's kind of fucking weird.
The lore is a mystery.
The lore is a mystery, but the fun isn't. If you haven't played it, go check it out. Number 49, Watch Dogs 2. I had to replay this game because I'd never finished the DLC. So a lot of people hate the Watch Dogs franchise and overall just like to bash on Ubisoft games, but I like playing through them like the popcorn that they are, and they're pretty freaking fun. So I would recommend it. It does a terrible job of representing what hacking is like, because hacking is nothing like it is in that game.
That's just traditional. No one represents what hacking is like, because as an activity, it's unfilmable and ungameable.
And of course, there's that really famous scene that people post from like NCIS or whatever, with the two people hacking on one keyboard for extra hacking speed. That's like one of the best things to ever come out of television.
It's so good.
But play Watch Dogs 2. You can cause car crashes and don't afraid of anything. Number 50, Terror of the Hemasaurus. Now, did we play this all on the channel or just some of it? I don't remember.
I think we finished it because it's a short game.
I don't remember.
It's so good.
We definitely played it on the channel at least a little bit. Terror of the Hemasaurus. It's like a modern. It's inspired by Rampage. Let's put it like that. And some cult or something like that doesn't want the planet to be destroyed by global warming.
They summon a giant dinosaur beast to destroy it with dinosaurs and mess up humanity.
Or maybe, I think it might be that they genetically engineer a giant dinosaur beast and they send it back millions of years in the past so that when the glaciers start to melt, it
from
will
global warming
unfreeze
and fuck up civilization,
and then go fuck up civilization.
It's pretty awesome.
You basically, in that game, you end up destroying Elon Musk. You know, copyright distinct Elon Musk. Elon Musk as he tries to rocket away in a spaceship. It's freaking awesome. It might not be everybody's cup of tea as far as gameplay, but I think I would. I didn't recommend it when I wrote this list, but I would recommend it now. Number 51, Atelier Marie Remake, The Alchemist of Salburg. Now, this may come as a surprise to some people, given that I play all of these like dude bro games where you got blood and guts and shooting
spine
and big
ripping,
muscles and everything. But I also like playing anime games with Alchemist girls. And I'd wanted to play this game for a long time, but the original release was only in Japanese and never released in America in English.
While CORWIN'S Japanese is surprisingly good, he can't quite play.
Not even remotely.
You can't
remotely.
Can't go in and play Japanese games yet.
But it's basically one of those games where it's a super low stakes game. Like, the stakes can't be lower. To put it simply, if you fail completely in the game, everybody's just like, well, you didn't pass your alchemy exams, so you're gonna have to go be a barmaid or something like that. But anyway, it's chill. You craft a whole bunch of potions. Not as fun as the later games in the same series, but if it's on sale, I'd recommend it. So, inspired by us playing Dead Island 2, I decided to play Homefront: The Revolution because it's made by the same developer. So I didn't really know what to expect, just that I knew that Dead Island 2 was freaking sweet from playing it with Uko.
I saw you playing this, and my impression is that it was one of the most bizarre ass games.
It's actually really fun in comparison to its reputation. It's got like really bad reviews on Steam and probably also on Metacritic. I think it may have launched in a terrible, terrible state.
I saw you riding a motorcycle up a lot of stairs.
And it's got this weird problem where it's got like 10 million. Your people are gonna probably look and see it doesn't have a strange amount of achievements or something, but it's got like way more achievements than most games do. And for some reason, I was gonna like get all the achievements in it, but by the time I was finished with the game, I was just kind of like, it was still fun. I won't recommend against it, but as the game gets to about like 3/4 of the way through, it starts being very repetitive, and I hated almost all of the characters. And then in the end, it tries to send this message of like, you're like wrong for fighting and being like violent and and
I hate when games do that.
Kind of like that. I don't really fucking know, but I enjoy my violence in video games, and I enjoyed the violence in that video game up until it sort of went a little bit pear-shaped. Number 53, Diablo IV. I wholeheartedly recommend Diablo IV. We played a little bit on the channel.
It's another game where there are people who hate it for various reasons that I don't understand.
It's like rehabilitating its image now. People really hated the first season of the Battle Pass or whatever, and then the second season, people seem to think it corrected a lot of the mistakes. So I'll probably play more of it in the future, especially if the rumors are true and they're planning on putting, yearly expansions out or whatever. Hopefully those yearly expansions end up on the Game Pass. It would, otherwise I'm gonna be dipping into the wallet fairly regularly
for Diablo
4. I enjoyed it. It was a good step after Diablo 3 was a little bit, I don't know exactly how I'd put it. Diablo 3 just felt a little bit too linear, and Diablo 4 feels a little bit too non-linear, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
I miss the completely randomly generated map. It was not like Diablo was ever completely randomly generated, but I just miss having a map that wasn't the same at all times. But I would recommend Diablo 4. Number 54, Star Wars Dark Forces. It's weird how this always seems to happen, but Uko and I decided to play, since it's like one of our childhood favorite video games, Dark Forces on the channel using the source port. And then almost immediately after we finished recording it, an official port was announced by Night Dive. And we all know how much we love Night Dive and their game remasters. I'm really, really hoping that Dark Forces is going to get some sort of lost content or something added to it, because it would be cool to not just have the up-resed, I think they're like up-resing and, upscaling the cinematics, which is going to look really cool, but I would like to see extra content added to it. Number 55, Midnight Fight Express. This is a game that Uko and I both played as well. I don't know if he played it to completion. Did you? Did you beat it?
Yeah, I got to the credits. I had to kind of rush.
It's one of those games. Uko and I were both playing it on Xbox Game Pass. It's one of those games where it starts out a little bit slow. It feels like 3D Hotline Miami. That's basically what it is. 3D isometric Hotline Miami
with a drone.
And I think the game, just in every way, would have been better without the drone. Okay, you're going on a rampage.
Yeah, I agree.
You're killing all the people you don't like. And
also the drone had some dumb name like Droney or something, which I thought was dumb.
There's these, I was constantly, while I was playing through it, knocking points off of the game every time that it would do another flashback to you talking to the cops in the interrogation room. I'm like, dude, just let me go forward.
Yeah, that's a trope.
And kill the enemies more. I just want to do this is a fun gameplay kind of game, not a
psychological
reedy type of game. So it had one exceptionally annoying boss fight which you would think I would have loved this boss fight, since basically you get attacked by a combine harvester
and you have to beat it up.
And anytime you get attacked by a combine harvester in a video game, I love that shit. It's also a meme in video games, but it was still really fun. And the final boss fight, it was like a wet fart, okay? In the sense that the combine harvester was annoyingly hard, and the final boss fight
was just too easy.
Was just a gigantic douchebag that you slap the shit out of in 2 seconds, and then you're like, once again for like the third time tonight, but I still really enjoyed it. Number 56, Quake II 64. I almost forgot that this was a thing, but it released as part of the Quake II remaster that I think it was Night Dive did it as well. I think it was Night Dive that did it as well. The Quake II remaster, I'm just sort of like combining Quake II and Quake II 64 here as number 56 and number 57. It's absolutely amazing. If you haven't played the remaster of Quake II, somehow it just feels so much better than the RTX version of Quake II that it takes a game that was sort of a forgotten legendary game and elevates it into something that everyone can nicely enjoy.
It polishes it up. It makes it so easy to play.
I do believe we had some sort of weird thing where when we were playing Quake II 64 on the channel, I kept crashing over and over and over again, and we could never really figure out
it was
exactly
something
what
to
was
do with
causing
the recording, though. So
it was something to do with the recording, so I don't blame the game.
Yeah, I really doubt that if you play it and don't record it yourself, that you will have any problem, so play it.
It was another game that I 100% achievemented in 2023 as well, so mad thumbs up to Quake 2, you should play it. Number 58, Starfield. I know it's weirdly controversial to be saying this, but Starfield was my game of the year. I
loved it too.
I didn't play a lot of the other games that people made their game of the year. I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3. I didn't play, what's it called? The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. I still haven't played Spider-Man 2. But Starfield, for me, it pushed all the right buttons. I could pick up like thousands and thousands of bagels if I wanted to. I could
be a space pirate.
I could fill my room somewhere with a whole bunch of, stolen booty, and I could even smuggle organs. Okay, I could even smuggle organs. It let me live my space pirate fantasy, and also, I can't wait for the DLC.
It's basically Skyrim in space. And if you didn't hype yourself into thinking it would somehow be more of a space simulator or whatever other weird stuff it was never going to be, if you don't hype yourself into thinking weird stuff about
then I think you're going to enjoy it more.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just want more. That's where I was left with Starfield after I was finished.
And it has Tim Russ and Nana Visitor in the voice cast,
who played Tuvok in Star Trek Voyager and Major Kira in Star Trek DS9.
They are awesome in the game. It's cool.
And they're your fucking parents, okay? They're your fucking parents.
Get the parent perk at the beginning of the game, or it won't be as cool.
Yup. I still haven't played with the perk where you have the adoring fan, because I want to murderize the adoring fan.
That's
or
cool
maybe
too.
Have him murderize for me. Number 59, Assassin's Creed Mirage. This is one of those games where it's a sort of like return to the original formula kind of game.
In a good way.
I really enjoyed it. It's got, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's got a plot element that Uko and I both saw coming a mile away, and
not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way. It was actually handled very well. It's got that woman who has the most incredible voice in the universe, where it sounds like she was like born, and then immediately someone handed her a little tiny cigarette to start smoking. just a little tiny cigarette.
I can't remember her name, but she was also in The Expanse, and she does have an amazing voice.
Her voice is amazing. I didn't like the combat very much, which is surprising. The combat felt extremely janky and clanky and clunky. the stealth was really, really good.
Yeah, as a stealth game, it was a real banger.
But the actual, like, you know, sword waving combat
Meh.
was a little bit shit. If you play Assassin's Creed
the
Mirage,
graphics were beautiful.
I strongly suggest that you do everything you can to, as rapidly as possible, pick up all of the tools and start using the different tools to your advantage, because you will enjoy the game so much more. And once again, it makes me wish that, like so many other games, that it had just started out with you having access to all of the tools.
I agree.
And the game would have been so much better from the very beginning.
Don't make the player earn the game back to being good so that you can play 90% of it not really good.
For number 60, when I heard about the Half-Life 2 RTX remake, I was like, you know what? We're going to be, or remaster, I'm going to play Half-Life 2 once again. I play it every like couple of years or something like that, and Half-Life 2, it's still an absolute masterpiece. Even if you only started gaming like 5 years ago or 5 minutes ago, I think that Half-Life 2 is still going to be something where you're going to be able to figure it out pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's like if you've never played Mario, but you do play modern platformers, you can play Mario.
It's like, to me, it's the masterpiece of like 2004 or 2003 or whenever it was that Half-Life 2 was released, and it regularly goes on sale for like 99 cents or sometimes even free. So if you've picked it up free at some point, you go play it now, and you will understand the glory of Half-Life 2. And for the final game, we have Ion Fury Aftershock. We played this on the channel. It's a DLC expansion for Ion Fury. It felt like it was coming absolutely forever, but then it finally released, and the wait paid off with dividends, because you even get to play on a hover bike and launch missiles at your enemies. Something that I was not really expecting to be as fun as it is in that game. And you know, you have an ultra fight inside of a volcano to finish off the campaign. So who doesn't like ultra fights in volcanoes? So of the games that I played last year, I would say that Ion Fury Aftershock, definitely in the top 5. I'd put Starfield number 1, then maybe like Quake II Remaster, Ion Fury, Diablo IV, and Miles Morales. That's what I'd put like directly below of the games that I played last year. I probably missed out some other things, and obviously games like Half-Life 2, you know, they're all-time classics, that it's unfair to compare modern games to classics. That's it's not that the modern games are any less good. It's just we all know
there's
that
nostalgia wrapped up into it and whatnot. Yeah.
So I know that I probably went on weird meandering thoughts in this.
It's a podcast-ish format.
It's a podcast format. So let us know if you want me to do a similar type of video next year, because this year I will once again be recording every game that I finish
in a list.
As I finish it in a list. I'm expecting to play less games than this year. Honestly, I don't know why.
This was a big fat list.
I feel like this year I'm gonna play like longer games like Baldur's Gate and maybe Final Fantasy 16,
and also maybe some
things
more
like that.
Maybe more roguelites and stuff that are harder to complete. Yeah.
I just started earlier today playing Peglin, which is basically, it's a Peggle roguelike where you play as a goblin called a Peglin, and it's actually pretty fun. We might even play it on the channel at some point, but we're gonna stop here. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that schmexy thumbs up button. Make sure you ring the bell to keep getting notified of delicious Waffle content. Waffle Bros signing out.